quiet.
Great evening, everyone, and thank you for joining Moments of Motivation with Michelle. Don't forget to like, tag, and share this video, and run over to YouTube, like, subscribe, and share my YouTube channel, Moments of Motivation with Michelle, where you will find great information about great people such as our guest tonight, having a few moments with me. When when you go over to Moments of Motivation with Michelle, you will find moments of empowerment, moments of encouragement, moments of influence, moments of knowledge, and moments of inspiration. Today, we have with us live and in person Mr. Kevin Smith, also known as Kevin Wolf. Please help me welcome Kevin to Moments of Motivation with Michelle. Hey, Kevin, welcome to Moments of Motivation with Michelle. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, busy as usual, but I was going to take the time to be a part of Moments of Motivation. I've been checking you out though for
You've been checking me
past
out.
couple. Yeah, I've been checking. I think it's really good what you're doing. So uh glad to be here.
Well, thank you again for joining us, and we're excited about sitting down with you and finding out more about you, and also to find out some of the things that you're doing so that you can encourage, motivate, and inspire us. Kevin is a man of many talents. You have had many experiences in the sports arena, politics, football, comedy, and also in your podcast. And I will venture to say that some folks have likened you to Richard Pryor, and I agree. I was watching Richard Pryor and David Letterman, and I was sitting there laughing so hard. And I said, you know what? That's Kevin Wolf right there. So, Kevin, again, thank you so much. Especially joining us right now with all the craziness that's going on in the world. There's so much craziness going on. And you took a time out of all the craziness and the madness to stop by Moments of Motivation with Michelle and join us. Oh, I also want to say to those of you who are joining us on Facebook and YouTube and whatever other outlet it may be, thank you for joining us tonight. And I'm sure that you're going to walk away tonight with a wealth of information. So, Kevin, what you think about Kirk Franklin cussing out his son?
that's how we're gonna get it started.
No,
That's
that's
what
not
we're
how we're
gonna
gonna
do.
get it started. That's so much
That's what it
craziness
sounds
that's
like.
going on. You don't
I,
even have to answer that question. Like,
I am though. I'm a answer it. You're right. I do kind of lay low when it comes to a lot of the craziness because I just try to stay busy and mind my own business. But I think that it was a reason the son recorded the call. I mean, when you're 30 something years old and you're recording your parents' conversation, that was a setup.
right.
And I got to be honest, Kurt did what many parents have done before. He's not the first and will not be the last, but I don't think he should be crucified for it. I mean, it was a recorded conversation. So I'm pretty sure, people flipped on the son. It didn't go as well as he thought. He
Right,
released it.
right.
I mean, you can bet that he won't be releasing any more recordings.
Can I tell you what happened to me after that recording came out?
Uh-oh, here we go.
So one of my sons called me laughing and said, Mama, did you hear about Kurt Franklin cussing his son out? And I was like, yeah. He said, you know what? I remember when you were preaching and I made you mad and you cussed me out too. I said, you know what? I ain't mad at Kurt because I know we all human. Okay, the other craziness, which is not crazy because there's so much positive stuff that I saw in it. And that was Joe Biden when he was falling up the steps on the airplane. Did you see that? Did you see Joe take a fall?
Joe need an escalator on Air Force One because I wasn't expecting that. I saw it floating around on social media when people were, making their memes about it and stuff like that. I mean, it happens, just not that often, but it does happen, I guess. But nah, Joe is fine, man. He'll be good.
Kevin, how many people have you seen recover like Joe Biden? Did you see that recovery?
Well, I mean, hell, he had 3 chances. He better get it right. He had 3 chances to get his balance. I mean, you better get it right.
You got to give it to him. Joe did good. He didn't fall down. He fell up. And then
again, he had 3 chances.
He didn't
He
fall
failed
off.
about as many times as he failed running for president, and he finally got it together.
Did
So
you say?
we're gonna let it go. We're gonna go with that. Okay.
We're gonna let
We're
it
gonna
go with
go with
that. I
that.
can't take that. Okay, then the last one is the craziness surrounding Little Nas and his devil shoes and that video that he did when he was, having sex with Satan or giving Satan a laptop. Did you see that? A lap dance? I said laptop, didn't I?
Michelle, does it look like I have anybody with the name Lula in my phone?
No, sir.
Does it look like somebody named Lula would be on my friends list?
No,
So
sir.
no, I don't keep up with that. What he was doing? What now?
You don't even look like you have little people in your family. Where he was giving Satan a lap dance, and he has these shoes that he called the devil shoes, and they have a drop of blood in them. And I know that a lot of people are just finding out about this. So I just want to know if you knew about all that craziness too.
No, ma'am, no.
Okay.
I don't think I want to know.
All right. So
I
there's
don't
a
think I
lot of
want to know. He
crazy.
put blood in the shoes. That's what he doing now.
Yeah, he
Most
put
people
blood in
put
the
extra
shoes.
cushion.
He
He
went from
put
the
blood in.
Old Town Road to the blood in the shoes.
Nah, I'm not. Nah, I'm not. I'm not touching that one. What's next? Let's
Okay,
that's
so
how we starting off.
that's how we starting off. I think that was a pretty good icebreaker. What you think? Damn, I think
Okay.
I did real good. Especially I'm over here about to have some hot flashes and stuff. I got the air on to help me out a little bit.
You
So
said it.
Kevin,
I did.
huh?
You said it. I didn't. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Who is Kevin Wolf and where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, my stage name is Kevin Wolf. My actual name, everybody knows me by Kevin Smith, and I'm originally from Laurinburg, North Carolina, from across the creek to be specific. That's important. And grew up there, and had a lot of friends. To be honest with you, I really enjoyed growing up in Laurinburg, and I appreciated it more as I got older and recognized, the different experiences, the people I had the opportunity to meet, to interact with. And I'll give you an example of that. A couple of weeks ago, one of the friends I've had in my life the longest, James Clark, lost both his parents.
Right.
And condolences to the Clark family. And they were legends, and their names still are, his mom and his dad, and what they meant to the community, and to have grown up as with that as an influence, to have people like former police chief Malloy and Darren Williams. Let me be politically correct. And the Laurinburg Institute. And remember, there was a library right there at the graveyard.
That's
that was
right.
just for the community. So to have those influences, as I got older, I began to, really appreciate the way that I was raised and the village that I was raised by in Laurinburg. So I really appreciated growing up there. And like most kids, was active, played sports, and that's about it. I guess that's all I can really give you right now. I mean,
Kevin,
what else you want to know?
I want us to, first of all, because you mentioned Reverend Pee Wee Clark, or Reverend James Clark Sr. and his wife, I would like to take a moment and just bow in silence in their honor. Because like you said, both of them are great legends too, not just Scotland County, but my God, North Carolina, surrounding states, they've done a lot. And so we want to take this time to bow for just a moment in their honor. Okay. Thank you so much again for bringing them up, because I know that you and Mr. Clark's son are very close friends. And again, that takes a lot. I'm getting kind of teary-eyed just thinking about Mr. Clark and all that he has done for gospel music, the quartet industry. So, Laurinburg, North Carolina, you said you played football. So you graduated in what year?
95.
Not. All right. Shout out to the class of 95.
Class of 95.
This your boy Kevin Wolf in the
him.
house, doing great things. So tell us a little bit about your journey after high school. Did you play play professional football, college football? Because the thing I remember about you, Kevin, is people used to say that you was a bookworm, and that one day
Who are they? Give me their number.
you want that number.
Give me their number. I want their number. I need to send them some money because I want to know who said that.
They
But
said
go
that's a
ahead.
smart young man right there, and one day he gonna run to be the president of the United States.
That's
And
not
I
good.
redo, and that was very positive. I remember that about you. So tell us about your path with football and which way did it take you?
So football wasn't my original sport. I fell in love with baseball first. That was my first love. And the only reason I played sports is because my older brothers played. And so being in that neighborhood, all of my friends started to play. And so when I was in high school, I was never really the star player because I always played with older guys that were, 2 years ahead. And so they were the star players. So I never really saw myself as such. And so when the opportunity came where I felt like, I could go to college and play at that level, it became a vehicle for me.
Okay.
Because I wanted the chance to continue to play, but also get a degree and not have to spend money out of my pocket for it. So that opportunity was I started getting recruited. Things went well, and I ended up at Wake. And actually, Wake was not my first choice. It wasn't the place I was going to go. But I ended up going there just by sort of a divine intervention, I think. And it was one of the best decisions I'd ever made. How that all played out and how that happened.
So you went to Wake Forest University.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what did you study there?
Mass communications, and it's paid off. I've always enjoyed talking and articulating ideas and things like that. And so to really study it and understand how people communicate, how we receive information, all those things has really been beneficial.
All right. So I noticed that a lot of people who do play sports, they have their little plan charted out for them, but you had a different strategy as it relate to football and what you wanted to do with that. And so again, we were talking earlier about the different paths that you've taken, comedy, football, politics, and now you have this podcast that you're doing that we'll talk about later. So tell us again, what was your strategy when it came to football? You said it wasn't to play professional. What was your strategy?
It was to get the degree. At the end of the day, that was the main objective. Everything else was just icing on the cake. And so I had to make sure I got that taken care of first. I mean, the NFL, just because of the sheer numbers and the money is not what people really think that it is. I just felt like it was best for me to, move on and do something else and, begin to figure it out. And so I started that about, I guess, maybe my sophomore year, whatever, just started really trying to figure out what else am I good at? What else do I want to do? And just start exploring different things. And I got to give Coach Caldwell, Jim Caldwell, a lot of credit because he was really big on making sure that his players were well prepared and understood what our main objective was in going to Wake. And so for those that may not know, Jim Caldwell was the first Black head coach for football in the ACC. And so it was an honor and a privilege to have a chance to not just play for him, but to have him as a mentor and as a leader and someone that I could, look to for insight, even still to this day. Before the coronavirus and stuff happened, he and I had a nice long lunch and got a chance to catch up and talk. And so, and he was the reason why I ended up going to Wake. Like I was saying earlier, I was going to another school in the color blue, but I'm not going to say which one. And my high school coach at the time, Mark Barnes, he said, well, why don't you think about Wake Forest? And I was like, well, I'm going to this other school. I haven't said it, but this is where I want to go. And everybody's thinking I should go there. So I'm going to go there. He said, well, just give him a call. And so we had a conversation with Coach Caldwell. And I was like, I think he's Black. Because, again, there was no internet. So I just didn't know. and Coach Barnes didn't mention it. And Jamie Deese, who's another great friend, longtime friend and teammate, he was like, "Hey man, what do you think about Wake?" And he was excited about it. So I went on a visit. He went on a visit, and I got a chance to meet Caldwell and fell in love. So that's how I ended up at Wake.
Awesome. And so since we owned a little path about mentorship, people that you can look up to and leadership, we're going to talk about family right now. So tell us, I hear that you have twins.
You hear?
Yeah, you have twins, right? I've never met them, so I only
boy and a girl.
They
just turned 7. Yeah, so I have
7 years
Khalif
old.
and Makeda. Khalif and Makeda.
So how is it parenting twins and you have a male and a female, not 2 girls or 2 boys, but you have a male and a female?
What you mean how it is? You know what I'm catching over here?
What are you catching?
You've got multiple. You've raised multiple. You know it exactly. Exactly. So you know what I'm going through. It's just you know, talking about what is it like? You know what I'm catching over here.
I don't know, because you had both of them at the same time. You know, I had one at a time, and I was able.
You lucky I'm being respectful. You lucky I'm being respectful and not cussing on your show. I'm trying to motivate people. I'm trying to motivate people.
Right. You got to motivate people.
Kids are wonderful. They are a joy in my life that are irreplaceable.
Okay.
At all times.
So what was your thought?
Did you not hear Kurt Franklin?
Yeah.
How many kids he got? His is 30. So what you think I'm saying to mine at 7? Okay.
Okay. So look, I did ask you how was to raise twins. You gave me your little spiel and whatnot. You really funny, Kevin. So what were your thoughts?
Real life.
Huh?
I said it's just, you know, it's real life. That's why people not critical of Kurt, because it was a real life organic moment, and you have those parenting moments. And you know, I talk about my kids a lot in my stand-up, just that journey and, you know, raising kids and having twins in that moment. And it was rough at first. I mean, because, you know, when my wife and I was at the doctor's office, and the doctor was like, "Oh, we were having the what do you call it? The
sonogram, ultrasound."
Ultrasound. We had that, and the doctor was like, "Oh, there's one," and we were like, "Oh, just so happy." And he said, "There's another one," and there's like 10 minutes of my life I'm not accountable for. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Next thing you know, I was in the car driving. So somehow I made it out the office, and I can't account for it.
Wow.
And it was just like it was a sticker shock. Just the price of, you know, you got 2 in daycare, you got 2 because, you know, but you get over that, and you make it through, and you figure it out.
You figure it all out. So which of the 2 twins are like you? Which one? Both have, you know, certain personalities. My son is very he asks a lot of questions. He's very naturally inquisitive of everything. It doesn't matter. He wants to know about this, from everything from the solar system to why did I close the door? I mean, he's always asking questions. My daughter, she's the funny one though. Okay.
She is the funny one, but she could be shy. And believe it or not, I could be very shy as well.
I can too.
And so now I thought we were being honest on this show.
I'm being honest on the show. I can be shy.
But they both have a little bit of it, and you see it. But it kind of depends though, and what mood they're in.
So you say your daughter, she's a jokester. Is there any jokes that she might have told that you might want to share with us tonight?
No, listen. No, not her jokes. No,
not her jokes.
No.
So how difficult is it parenting during the pandemic?
I mean, it was hard. I mean, it was extremely hard. But yeah, I'm thankful and grateful because, you know, it could have been worse. And there are people who are really going through difficult situations. Luckily, I was, you know, in a situation where I was working from home, where there are people who weren't that fortunate. And so for me, while it was hard, I also have to be appreciative of the situation I am, while also recognizing that there are people who have it a lot harder. So I feel kind of bad saying I had it hard because I know that there are people out there that had it a lot tougher. So
Right.
I would just say it was challenging, just the remote learning and the things they don't want to do and having to keep track of them while, my own work. And it was challenging, but we started to figure out because they got bored.
Hmm.
They would, I had to keep my son off of YouTube, and then they started looking out for each other to hear when I was coming up the steps to check on them. So yeah, I heard my daughter say, "Oh, he coming up the stairs." First of all, you
He,
ain't gonna call me he,
right.
but that's a whole nother deal. But it's just stuff like that, and so uh, it presented some challenges, but we figured it out and made it through.
That's good. So, Kevin, as a comedian, how did you discover your passion for comedy?
I mean, it's always been there. I just didn't know what to do with it because it's not as if, I lived in New York or LA or Atlanta where there are, comedy spots to go practice in and, have people to see you. I just didn't know what to do. So again, moving on to something more practical, and I just never really got into it, but I've always loved it. I've always enjoyed it. And you hear about it being such a, a tough thing to really make it and be successful at. And so again, you just kind of fade away from it. But some callings you just can't keep running from. But I've always enjoyed making people laugh.
Bam, I just heard what you said. You said some callings you can't run from it. So you believe that you being a comedy or that gift is a calling?
Yeah, I mean that's what, because it's all about how you see things. It's your perspective.
Hmm.
Sure, some people can write jokes, two guys walk into a bar, whatever, but that the essence of that of stand-up comedy, that's about life experiences. That's not and perspective. It's not necessarily like your traditional jokes. And so you have to really be in tune and really, know who you are and be able to find that levity in situations, and it'll naturally come. You'll see it, and there's certain things you won't say, and I've always had it. I just didn't know what it was, and where I was trying to be very serious, people were like, "Oh, you funny?" No, I'm dead serious. But it was just the way I saw it. And so also there were times where I didn't show it to everybody, because I didn't think, again, when you playing sports, you want people to take you seriously. And so I didn't really show it a lot to people.
So were you a jokester on the football field?
Not all the time. It really depended. Like if I felt like there were times where things were kind of tight and tense, and people need to loosen up a little bit, or if I felt like on the football team, when guys get together, we're going back and forth at each other. You're sitting at the back of the bus, when you're traveling or whatever, and you're going back and forth with each other. So you have those, but I try not to be, because again, you want to be taken seriously.
Right, right. So Kevin, as a father, as a husband, and also as a professional, how do you navigate your comedy through all of that? And also, do you find yourself, with your wife or your kids or on your job, cutting jokes to make things lighter for everyone?
When people find that when people find out that you're a comedian, they have this expectation that everything you say out of your mouth is going to be funny.
Right.
And it's just not like that. It doesn't work like that. First of all, that's how you earn your money. So you're not going to keep getting them free. But
Right.
but then you just so to answer your question, yes, people do expect it, but and every now and again, because it's just my natural personality, it'll come out, but it's not anything that is intentional. It's just a conversation or an interaction, and it might be something funny said or whatever. But for me, I enjoy, when other people are funny. I enjoy listening and laughing at other people. Well, laughing with other people.
Right. So
What
do
was
you
the first question you asked? What was the first part of it? I feel like I
uh,
missed it. What was the first?
how do you navigate being a comedian through being with being a parent, husband.
Oh, I love it. That's where my material come from.
Hmm.
That's my
I would love for you to share some of that material that you get from
Not
being a.
gonna happen. Didn't you hear me? Didn't you hear me just say you ain't gonna keep getting it for free?
Now, Kevin, I've
No.
come to hear you in your stand up. I was there for your recording, and you gave out some good material. You talked about your mama, your daddy. You talked about your wife just a little bit, but God knows you did us good when you talked about that little girl.
That's why it's easy, because again, it's for me. I'll say this: for me and my comedy style, it's about life, it's about experiences and perspective on things, but it's all aspects of life. It's not just the kids, but it's also politics. It's, current affairs. It's what I'm going through uh, as a man, what I
Mhm.
see, how things have changed, and what like. It's so much just about my life and my perspective. And so you would hear things the way that I would say it, and it would be my thought and just how I feel about it.
All right. So, do you believe that comedy, or do you believe that laughing has a healing element to it? And if so, let's talk about that a little bit, because a lot of people are sad these days. We have a lot of stuff that's going on, especially with this COVID-19, and they might need to go and find Kevin Wolf or Richard Pryor, Eddie James. I mean, not Eddie James, but Eddie Murphy, and get some of that material and laugh a little bit.
Well, I definitely think that, you know, the past year, calendar year, has been tough on a lot of people, has presented a
Right.
lot of serious uh, situations that need some levity. The problem was everything was shut down. So comedy clubs were shutting down. And what happened was a lot of people began to go to social media and finding their entertainment, their levity other ways. The number of memes like just went off the charts and stuff.
Right.
And it was cool. I think that's great. Um, and so it was but it was really hard to give people uh, that comedy from the lens of stand up, where you're talking, and you had some that are back to work, but then you had others that were still getting sick. You had DL Hughley, Dave Chappelle. You had so many others that were getting sick, and so for me it was just this is too much. It's obviously too soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that it was missing, and when that's missing, when you don't have that laughter, not only do you not have that healing, you don't have those barriers being broken down.
Awesome.
Nothing brings people together like music and jokes.
Right. Sitting at the dinner table with grandma, granddad, your brother, sister, and just crack one real fast before you get cracked upside the head, right? Grandma was like, that's not funny. So if there was a young comedian, someone online that's viewing us right now, and they were aspiring to be a comedian, how would you encourage them to sharpen their craft?
Write every day. Figure out who you are. Figure out who are you as a person. What are your life experiences? How do you view things? Uh, learn to I would say learn to really love who you are and appreciate being who you are, because that's going to come through in your stand up, where confidence is everything. And you want people to see that confidence. So just be you. It's one of the few genres where, the more you are who you naturally are as a person, the better you're going to perform. And so that's why it's important not to try to be like somebody else, but to just give your perspective. And so I would say keep writing, perform every opportunity you can get. Try to find as many ways as you can to put yourself out there, but don't be in a rush to be famous. Have a sense of urgency to be good. Some
Mhm.
people want to be famous and they forget to be good, and then the fame comes and they can't maintain it.
Right.
Fame should be like a residue of hard work and success. You see what I'm saying? And so you
I
want to
understand.
have that sustainability. And so to do that, you want to write, you want to have your own material, you want to develop your voice. And that would be the advice.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And so, Kevin, this is a question that one of my viewers want to know.
Oh,
What
here we
has
go.
been,
Here we go.
uh-huh, here we go.
Here we go.
What has been
LBG in the house.
LBG in the house? Hey, Laurenberg. So what has been your most embarrassing moment as a comedian? And also, have you ever experienced stage fright?
Never had stage fright because playing sports kind of took that out.
Mhm.
That took that out of me. Because I take it all the way back to high school. Our games in Scotland, there'll be a few thousand people there. So when you performed in front of that takes the edge off of it. Most embarrassing moment was so all right. So there was this event in, I think it was Durham. It was in Durham. And so this is when I learned the lesson to really know who your audience is. So this other comedian, he couldn't make it. He was like, "Hey man, why don't you fill in for me?" All that stuff. It's an event where people are, it's like this group, but it's focused on couples. So it's like a date night and they
Mhm.
come and watch movies, right? So I'm thinking they're couples. So I got all of these jokes about being, couples, relationships, marriage, all of that stuff, all of this stuff. So I got like 15 minutes of material. And I was kind of starting out, so I'm working it. I'm writing it, fine tuning, practicing, and I get there, and the event actually is a singles event. So nobody there is in a relationship. It was
Okay.
like a meetup event. And so I started telling all of these jokes about being in couples and stuff like that. And I could see the men and women kind of frowning up, like, that ain't what we're here for, da 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 da. And it was just weird. And I got up out of there. You hear me? I don't even no, I didn't even pick up my check.
You jetted
Yeah,
out
I
there.
didn't earn it. I didn't earn it. Like I didn't do the homework. I didn't get my check. My wife was hot that I didn't get the check.
So
She
why
didn't
didn't you
care
just
whether I
change,
did good or not, huh?
why didn't you just change your comedy and make it be about singing?
Because I was just starting out, and I didn't have that number of jokes to just flip it like that. It's not one of those. I'm not that guy that just I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. I'm not saying every word is written out. There's always room for spontaneity, but for the most part, I had it together. But if I had done my homework like I was supposed to,
Good.
then that would have happened. That wouldn't have happened.
So you got to do your homework. Got to do your
You got to
homework.
know your audience, and it was embarrassing because nobody laughed. I would rather have people boo than just sit there in dead silence. I didn't even get a go ahead, baby, or nothing. Everybody wanted me out of there.
For 15 minutes?
Everybody wanted this. About minute 10, I heard somebody back in the back say, "Who is this?" I got up out of there.
You know what? You told me to get some water. I should have got a bottle of water so I could.
I got up out of there. You hear me? I got up
Yeah.
out of there. I didn't speak to nobody. I walked straight on off and I jetted.
Wow.
I ain't pick up that money. Nope.
So ending up our area on comedians or comedy, who are some of your influencers?
Oh man. Dick Gregory, Paul Mooney, Moms Mabley. I like Roy Woods Jr. A lot of people may not know his name, but I think this cat is funny. And I like Little Rail as well.
So
But
do you like
go
any of
ahead.
these new age comedians? Because comedy has changed a lot. You got people coming on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram and Snapchat and all that. They becoming sensations overnight. So do you have any of those who you like their material?
I like Desi Banks. That dude is hilarious. I
Is that
started. I picked
right
him up
number?
this summer. Nah, he's a young black dude out of I think he's in Atlanta now, but his name is Desi, Desi, last name Banks. Funny as all get out. His clips only like a minute, and I think it's all funny. I don't care. I like to laugh. I don't care if you do videos. I don't care if it's TikTok. I mean, do your thing, go get it. The thing is the pie is infinite. It's enough for everybody to eat. It's just not my thing. The video thing it's just not my thing. But I think anybody that can find a vehicle to get them to where they want to go, use it. I mean, because that's
Awesome.
what I did. I used sports to get to where I needed to go. And so, I'm never going to be critical of someone that is using a vehicle to get to where they ultimately want to go. And so when I look at it and I see the success that they're having, it doesn't make me want to do what they're doing, because I'm going to stay in my lane, but I enjoy and appreciate what they're doing. But more so, I appreciate their grind, because it's a lot to turn those videos out. Like, people think, oh, you just hold the phone, do something funny, and you post it. No, it's like a production with some of these. Like, they write this stuff out. And so that's just not my thing right now. But I do appreciate those that do it, because I just like to laugh and have a good time. I'll be on YouTube all day. If I don't watch myself, I'll be on there all day.
I know, because when I'm feeling bad and I'm feeling down, because I do have down days like I did this morning. And when you called me, I thought, oh my God, Kevin is gonna get me, because when he called me, it didn't seem like I got his little stuff with me and whatever. But when I have my down days, I will do that. I'll go to YouTube, I'll put on something funny. I don't care if it's saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled or not. I'm gonna watch something that's gonna bring me up and make me feel a little better. And
I know the
so
preacher is not sitting there saying that you listen to just anything.
I do.
Do you really?
Mhm.
And that's funny, because I don't know if you've ever seen this clip. People talk about Christian comedy, not secular comedy, all this and that. But what's interesting is there was this clip of this comedian, and he was doing impersonations. I think he was at TD Jakes' church, the Potter's
Okay.
house, right?
Mhm.
So he was doing these different impersonations of people, and I mean, the church was going crazy. I mean, they were falling out the pews laughing. And then he did Bernie Mac, and they went bananas.
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how do these Christian folk know about Bernie?
Bernie Mac.
To the
That's
point
right.
where, wait, now, it wasn't one of those, oh, I've heard that name before. I mean, these people were falling out laughing in the church, because they recognized this comedian who was impersonating Bernie Mac, who we all know cusses all the time.
Right, right.
I just thought that was so funny to see that.
So people have their preferences, and you know how far to take it as a Christian. It's not like I'm going there because that's the type of lifestyle that I'm living. And it goes back to, it's the material. If you take away the curse words, if you take away the profanity, the sexual imagery or whatever that's projected in the comedy, and it's just listen to the straight comedy, it's funny. I think Cat Williams is funny. I think Mike Epps is funny.
Tell me a
Eddie
Cat
Murphy.
Williams joke the same way Cat Williams will say it.
Say what
Every
now?
word. I want you to tell me a Cat Williams joke, every word that he said.
Now,
Okay, then you don't like Cat Williams.
Kevin, I'm
You don't
challenging.
like Cat Williams.
Why are you trying to challenge me though?
Challenge.
I'm
I'm
saying
just
I
saying.
will listen at Chappelle, Cat Williams. I don't have an issue with it. That's the thing about it. I'm just not. I'll listen to it. I'll get what I have to get for the moment and keep going. Okay. So, but I'm not sitting there judging any of them. But I thank them for the comedy because it's funny, made me laugh. And I was going to ask you: is there a difference between what you say is Christian comedy and secular comedy? Because I know that you've done comedy in churches before or for church events.
Only difference is you just taking out the cussing. I mean, you pretty
Taking
much
out the
talking
cussing.
about this. What now? There are some comedians, again, that there are some comedians that, it's just my opinion, it's like every other word is a curse word, and it dilutes the substance of their material. Just like with some Christian comedies, they spend so much time talking about the church. It's like, okay, I get it. The black church is a funny place. I get it.
Right.
I get it. I get the usher board. I get it. The trust. I get it. Okay, I get it.
Right.
Cussing preacher. I get it. But
Now that
just
cat
like
is funny.
who?
He funny.
No, I'm just saying in terms of
But
the
his name Cat.
material. I'm just saying that material is about that. But there are people in the church that still lead regular lives when they walk out of there, and they have parts of their life where you can bring some funny to it. And so I've had the opportunity to meet some other comedians that are Christian comics, but they don't just, tell the same sort of stock jokes, church jokes. And that's what I like. And so that's why I say, only thing difference is they take the cussing out.
All right. So those of you who are joining us, we are sitting here tonight with comedian Kevin Wolf. He has given us.
I want another question from people listening.
Okay, let me see.
I want to see what's another question.
You didn't let me finish what I was trying to say, though.
Look, I just want another question.
Okay, let me see. Juwan, can you see if we have any questions on Facebook or YouTube? So tonight we are here with comedian Kevin Wolf. He is live and in person. He's raw. He's giving us information about sports so far in his family. And we're getting ready to talk about politics. This young man has a lot of stuff under his belt. He has a lot to bring to the table, and we are so excited that he took out a few moments of his time tonight to come and share with us. So, we have any questions? Omar McLeod.
Omar, he's Omar and my brother were really good friends, and I remember when Omar was playing football at Scotland.
Oh yeah, he did.
But yeah, I used to have to. Because I used to have to. My brother Tyrone, I would always have to tag along, and then sometimes Omar would come by the house, and so yeah, shout out to Omar McLeod.
Omar said y'all go way back.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, way back. Like, so because of my older brothers and me having to tag along, I know a lot of different people, in that age range, from the classes of the mid to late 80s and stuff like that. So
Juwan wants you to know that he's loving it and he's giving you some claps. So shout out to Juwan.
Thank you, Juwan. After the way you treat him.
What you mean how I treat him? I don't treat Juwan bad.
No, your viewers need to know that. So before you hit live, we were going over everything, getting everything set up for about the first 15 minutes. I'm just sitting there and you ordering Juwan around like it's Django Unchained Part 2.
Stop.
Juwan do this, Juwan do that, Juwan do this, and Juwan is hustling. So for everybody don't know, this whole production, it really should be motivational moments with Juwan, and Michelle just shows up when Juwan is done. Juwan was where she's like, Juwan, change the color to this. This is no, change it. And finally, she gonna say, "Oh, Juwan, you did a good job. Juwan, you so talented." Okay. I'm surprised Juwan just don't pack his stuff up and go to the house.
I think that I'm really good to Juwan. Juwan.
Oh, that's what you call good to him?
Juwan.
Don't say nothing, Juwan. Don't say nothing, Juwan. I don't want to get you in trouble. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay, Kevin, that was too funny to me. But you did correct me, and I did correct myself, didn't I? Because I don't want him to feel like I'm abusing him nor using him. Because I'm very appreciative to what he does. Because he's an inspiration, a big help to me. And like last week, he was not here, Kevin. And I was like, Juwan, you have to be here. This is gonna be one of my big.
Listen to her. Juwan, you have to be here. Like Juwan ain't got no life. Juwan, you have to be here. You couldn't say, Juwan, does it fit? Does it work for you to be here?
I did.
No,
I did.
Got to be here, Juwan.
I said all of that too, because I told him I needed him. It was going to be one of the biggest shows. I've had this amount of likes and comments and shares, and he said, you know what? He said, you're gonna do fine without me. I said, okay, and I did great. I just feel funny without Juwan. But anyway, Kevin, thank you so much, sir. Kevin, I also understand that you were involved in politics, and I did allude to that a little while ago. So how involved were you in politics?
That's sort of a broad quote. What do you mean? Like, it was, I did different things. I had different positions within the party structure, Democratic Party structure. I was chair of minority affairs for the Democratic Party, third vice chair of the congressional district. and third vice chair of the county. Worked on a few campaigns. Uh, been consulting on a lot of things. I've been to the national convention for several times. I can't remember, but I've been several times. And
Which was the best convention you went to?
the one in Charlotte when Obama was reelected, just because it was here in North Carolina, I didn't have to deal with the craziness of the travel, but to be there to see him get reelected, because I knew how tough it was going to be. But to see him get reelected was the real affirmation for me, and to have the convention, to be able to do it there in Charlotte and to be a delegate, that really meant a lot, because that's something that, I'll be able to share with, with my kids, those stories about it. And so interesting about that. I had a chance to take my mom to see Obama when he was running the first time. They were at the fairgrounds, and so because of, I built some relationships and stuff, I had a chance to go, and I remember my mom drove up from Laurinburg to Raleigh, and she got a chance to see him. She got a chance to really see him, and that was cool.
So what is it like being in Barack Obama's presence? A lot of people, they stand beside those statues and all that stuff, but you were right there. You were able to feel him, see him, hear him, up front and impersonal. So talk to us about that experience.
I'll be honest with you, I think it was the moment and not necessarily the man. And what I mean by that is the man is not intimidating. I mean, we're pretty much the same height, but the moment and what he was doing, what that represent, that could be overwhelming. And that's why I wanted to make sure I shared that moment with my mom, because that could have been, it didn't matter if it was him or if it was Vice President Harris. It didn't matter. It was the moment of it that was so intense and has such an impact. And for me, it was just another moment in terms of a political moment of helping him try to win and things like that. But seeing the expression on my mom's face and what it meant to her, and that meant a lot, that she was able to share and be a part of that experience. And funny enough, who got me involved in politics from the beginning?
Please tell us.
Is Representative and Reverend Garland Pierce.
Wow.
That's who got me started. And it was weird because we were at I was working for this company, and I was at the NAACP convention in Greensboro, and he was there. And I just didn't recognize him. And he came up and he said, "Hey, ain't you from Laurinburg? You know how we talk." Mm-hmm. And I said, "Yeah, we talked." And it just started from there and just had conversations. And I've been blessed to have some great Black men in my life that have been great mentors at these varying stages. And I got to say, he came along and said, "Hey, well, why don't you," it started, he's like, "Hey, why don't you go to this meeting?" And that meeting turned into another meeting, and it turned into me just getting involved, and then helping him on his campaign, and then helping somebody else, and then going to, it just started snowballing. And I got really interested in it and really enjoyed it. And that, that's how I wanted to work in government. I enjoyed working in local government. And that's when I started working for the city of Raleigh, and being there, working in different communities and working on special projects, as Raleigh was, one of the greatest places to live, fastest growing places in the country. To be there during that time was great. And that's when I went back to school and got my master's in public administration, because I wanted to work in government for a while.
Yeah, Reverend Pierce, excuse me. He's an awesome guy. He and I worked together on the mass drive for Scotland County. And we passed out over 7,525 masks between Hope County, Scotland County, and Richmond County. He's an awesome man to work with. He has great vision. And he's all, people say busy. He is not busy. He's very productive, because he's making a lot of waves. And so it makes me feel good to know that he was instrumental in your life as well.
Yeah, and still is, just, you could say a lot of things about him, but he's a guy, he is in the community. He is He is for that. And if he tell you he's going to take a stance on something, but he's not going to take a stance without doing his homework.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so, uh, yeah, he was the reason I got involved at all. And so I'm grateful for that.
Good. He is a very positive role model in my life right now to this day, and I really appreciate him. So, Kevin, when it comes to the vaccine um, and everything, I know
I
you
got my shot 3 weeks ago.
you got your. Did you get both of the shots, or did you get one
No,
shot?
I just got one.
You,
I took one and I'm done.
did you have any side effects from it?
Yeah, I was down. Like I thought I had it. Like, supposed to help me out, not put me down. But it was like, I had chills, some body aches, but I took some Tylenol, got some rest, and I was cool 24 hours later.
So you took the Johnson one.
Yeah, I took the one shot.
Why didn't you take the other two? One of the other two.
I didn't see the reason of getting stuck twice when I can get stuck one. Like who chooses? Like I can either get stuck once or get stuck twice. You see what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
Okay.
So what would you say? Would you encourage people to take the vaccine? Because a lot of people in our community, of course, there's a stigma surrounded around the vaccine and not sure if they should take it. And of course, they're scared. So what would you say to people who have questions about taking the vaccine? And most definitely, since you took the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, what would you say?
I mean, first of all, when people have their fears, you got to respect it, or they have their anxieties or questions or whatever when it comes to it. You got to respect it because there has been a history, not has been, it still is ongoing when it comes to racism, when it comes to medicine. I mean, the Tuskegee experiment, when you are taking what they did to women, what they did to Black women in the medical field, what they would do to Black women patients.
Right.
And it was just the sterilizations that went on against the will of these Black women. I mean, those types of things, it is an understandable anxiety. But for me, having lost so many people that were close to me and knowing so many people that were fighting that battle against COVID and what they went through, and then also wanting to get out, it was a lot of prayer and then let's go get it. And again, I had some friends I called that are in the medical field, some doctors, nurses, other things, and they were like, they're going to get it, and they trusted it. So I trusted the science and the professionals. So, and I understand some people are going to have their skepticism, and that's cool, every right to. But for me, I'm not going to take that chance. It is what it is. And again, I did the best I could do in terms of getting the information from people I trusted.
Okay. So with that said, tell us what's next for Kevin Wolf, Mr. Comedian. Tell us what's next for him.
Well, so for those that don't know, and I got to admit, I've done a poor job of talking about it on social media, but that's going to get better. So I'm the producer and the host for Wake Forest University athletics podcast. It's called Deke, the number 2 Deke. So it's Deke to Deke. And it's already out now. If you type in Deke to Deke, you can Google it and it'll come up. So we have 4 episodes out and it's going really well. People really like it. And it's very unique. If I'm not mistaken, it's the only one of its kind in the entire country. And it's definitely in the ACC, but it's where I sit down with former student athletes that are now doing different things with their life. What are they doing? Like, for example, I get to talk to Mitch Shaw. Mitch Shaw is part owner of the Atlanta Hawks. He is one of the leaders in the hospitality industry when it comes to not just the hotels, but also real estate. And he had recently made a gift for the Shaw Basketball Center. And so to be able to sit down with him and hear his story and how he went from he went from working in his parents' motel on the side of the road to building this multi-million-dollar industry, as well as being owner of a professional NBA team. Or LaChina Robinson, who played basketball at Wake Forest. She's now one of the greatest analysts in sports, period. Not just a woman, not just in the WNBA, but just she's a dope analyst, period. So the chance to sit down and talk to her, and she shares her journey and her story is, so we get to talk about that, and people get to hear about the great things that Wake Forest University student athletes are doing when they're done with the sport. And so you don't often get to hear that. And so it's a way for us to share our story. And then you also find those stories where you have a connection with people in some of the smallest ways. So like, for example, the Laurinburg Institute has had a long history with the ACC when it comes to basketball.
That's right.
So the first Black player to win ACC Player of the Year was Charlie Davis. He won it in 1971. Charlie Davis came through. He came through the Laurinburg Institute by way of Brooklyn. And so you saw that a lot, where players would spend time at the Laurinburg Institute for a variety of reasons and then go on to play major college sports. And so for me, it's an opportunity to hear those stories, to help people share those stories, interact, and get to know these different guests. And I've really enjoyed it. It's just been a lot of work, though. That's kind of why I've been laying low, but now it's out. And
that's your big announcement.
Yeah. So now it's out. It's been out. It's called Deke to Deke. Hosting and producing it. So check it out. Subscribe. Let me know what you think. Unless you got something bad to say, don't hit me up for that. Get out my DMs with that.
Now, Kevin, I have watched a few of your podcasts, and I absolutely love all of them.
Do you really?
Oh yeah, I love them. I'm able to sit back and glean from you, your interview styles, your techniques, and all of that, and also see how you interact with your guest. The one guest that I absolutely love, and I was waiting for you to mention it, was the mascot.
Oh,
when you interviewed the mascot, you have to talk to us about that. Oh my goodness.
So we were so I was I was sitting around again. You want to talk about kids inspiring. So we were doing something, and we had ordered some masks for the kids, and so they came Amazon. We opened them up, and the whole time I was thinking about how do I come up with a teaser or a commercial or whatever for the Deke to Deke. And my son had the mask on, and I was talking to him, and I couldn't hear what he was saying because he had the mask on.
Right.
And that it just went off. Like, I'll interview the deacon and he can't talk, blah, blah. And that'll be the bit. And so I wrote it, put it together, got the team together with the video, and we shot the teaser. I keep wanting to call it commercial because that's how old I am, but technically it's a teaser. So that's how that came about. Just kind of the inspiration. So I wrote it up and we filmed it. So yeah, and people really like that.
Yeah, it was so funny. You asking him questions, and because he can't say the questions, he's having to act them out, and he's getting up, pointing to stuff all around the room. It was so funny. I really, really enjoyed that. And again, I love what you're doing, Kevin. You're making waves. You're such a positive influence, a positive role model. I know that your wife and your children are super duper excited and happy to see what you're doing. And most definitely your mother. Now, when we heard you do that stand-up comedy and you was talking about your mom and your dad, oh my God, that was the funniest thing. That was the best part of the night for me. So, Kevin, if someone is interested, who's listening or watching us tonight, if they're interested in bringing you to their church or somewhere to do some stand-up, I know right now we're still in the midst of the pandemic. Are you accepting any appointments right now?
Yeah, I mean, if the situation is right, again, I'm not.
What makes the situation right? The money?
Well, no, it's not always about the money, but I mean, I'm not going where it's 1,000 people and everybody's standing around close. Right. But if you got some things, in place, and I won't get the COVIDs, then yeah, I can slide down. Because again, I took the vaccine like 3 weeks ago, so I think I've got another week, and I should be at 90-something% or 100%, whatever it was.
Okay. But, okay.
Yeah. So that, and my email is kevinwolfcomedy@gmail.com.
So could you spell that, please?
KevinComedy. Wait, KevinWolfComedy at gmail.com.
Okay.
Kevin Wolf Comedy at gmail.com.
So if you're interested in booking him, that's how you get in contact with him. Also, if you want to listen to some of his material, share with them where they can find you at on your podcast. And also
It's the pot. Well, again, it's Deeks to Deek for the Wake Forest podcast, but then for my personal, it's Parlay with comedian Kevin Wolf. If you type that into Google or it's on Apple, all the major platforms. And so season 2 is coming out soon. It's coming out soon. I got some great guests that I'm going to start putting stuff out here pretty soon. It's just, again, trying to juggle getting, the Deek to Deek off the ground. I kind of had to put this over to the side. And so I'm going to pick that back up and start putting that out as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's really exciting.
So, Kevin, is there anything else that you want to share with us before we start wrapping this show up?
Nah, I'm good. Anything else you want to ask? Any other, I haven't had, been in front of people in a while. So what is your audience questions? Any other questions from the audience?
Yes, sir. Someone wants to know if you can do a little bit of stand-up comedy.
Not right now.
Not right now. Why? Because.
Okay, let me ask you something. Okay, I'm going to say this one more time. No, we just chilling. We just sit here relaxing, having conversations. That's all it was.
Well, Kevin, it's been.
I'll tell you what, y'all book me to come down. I'll tell you what, if somebody sets it up, I want to come down there and do something again. I've always enjoyed performing in Laurinburg, and I think that I've always enjoyed that. So if somebody books me, I would not charge a lot.
And there you have it, Facebook tonight. It's me.
Wait, you need to post Juwan's Cash App or start something for him because he needs more money from the way you be treating him verbally. I think it's abusive. I meant to tell you that too.
You know what?
Can you post his Cash App?
Juwan, what's your Cash App?
It's $J
J Lock 97. That's it. Now I'm very good to Juwan, and he knows that, and everybody that's around me know I'm good to him.
Did everybody just hear how tone changed when I just brought up Juwan?
Why does Juwan have to be the brunt end of the jokes tonight?
This is really Juwan's show because he did all the work. I watched him.
No, he did not.
You came in, you sat down, and you said Juwan, and the rest of the time you were saying his name to do this. You ain't set up nothing. You didn't even log in yourself.
What? How you know I didn't log myself?
Exactly. You didn't even put in your login. You had Juwan do that, didn't you?
Well, yes, he did.
Moments of motivation would now be brought to you by Juwan moving forward.
There you have it, everyone.
Treat your team like that. You can't treat your team like that.
Are you gonna let me close out or what?
I'm just saying, you treating your team terrible.
I don't. I'm good to them.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna try this one more time.
They don't see it before you click live. I sat through 15 minutes of it. I watched him. Trust me. I know what it's like when you go in on somebody. Trust me.
Oh God, have mercy. Okay. I'm gonna do better.
No, you ain't. No, he's not. Juwan needs to have a segment where he reports on what you do to him. That's what he needs. Juwan needs his own segment where he can come on and talk about you.
See, what's going to happen is
there's that frown.
After we get off the air with you, we're going to come back on in like 15 minutes, and we're going to talk about this session with you, okay?
Juwan is going to call me. He going to say, you told Michelle to beat me. That's what it is.
I'll be looking for
All my life, Juwan had to fight.
He wants you to know that since you told him to post his Cash App, he's gonna be looking for a Cash App for you from you. So again, his Cash
Oh, I
App
can
is
give him my
$sign
cash app.
J J
J-Lock.
JLOCK.
Oh, Juwan and I, we're gonna do some
97.
business after this. We're gonna do some business after this.
Yeah, Juwan is good. I told you on the couple that I had who came on, they were like, we need to get us a Juwan. Yeah, he's
See
good.
that? See that?
I'm
See
teaching
that?
him. I'm raising him up.
What is that? You done made him a verb? Is that what is that? Is that it? We gotta get us a Juwan. Okay. Okay. But you treat him fine. You treat him all right.
Juwan, you can be honest. Do I treat you bad? He said no.
No, you said no.
He said I could be difficult though.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
see,
well.
I be trying to play with Juwan and crack jokes with him, but he be thinking my jokes are serious. Yeah.
I watched you for 15 minutes. You ain't cracked no jokes. You cracked a couple of whips, but you ain't cracked no jokes.
I'm gonna get better, Juwan. I'll get better based on what Kevin is saying, because if Kevin is seeing it, someone else might see the same thing and say the same
We've
thing.
all seen it. We've all seen how you treat him.
Oh God, Kevin, it is
Yes.
great interviewing
What
you
time
today.
is
So can
it? We done?
can I close out now?
We done already?
I asked you if there's anything else you want to say.
No, I just didn't know if we were done or not.
No, there is one other thing, Kevin, that we did discuss talking about is you giving some words of encouragement to our young people. There's a lot going on in our communities. Black on black crime. A lot of our young people are being. I mean, I was doing the stats for the gun violence, the deaths due to gun violence, and the numbers are astounding. So is there anything that you would like to share? I think that is very positive from someone such as yourself who's doing so well to come from some of our communities.
Okay, you want to know what it's like raising twins? Don't run away now. Come here.
Yeah.
This is what it's like.
This
is what it's like.
Tell me, come on. Is that the boy or the girl?
That's my daughter. That's Makeda.
Hi, Makeda.
Say hello.
Hello.
Makeda, would
That's
you
what
like
it's
to tell
like.
a joke?
She can't hear you. She can't hear you. I got these up. No.
Oh, Kevin, bring it
You
on.
not get ready to do her. You see what I'm saying? You see behind me.
She doesn't have any shyness to her at all. Oh God. But yeah, go ahead.
What was I saying?
You was gonna give some words of
Words of wisdom. I would say this. I'm an example of whatever it is you want to do it. People will always discourage you. People always tell you reasons why not. People are going to disappoint you. People are going to say they're going to support you, and they're not. And they're people that you're going to get support from, and you didn't even see it coming.
Mm-hmm.
But the main thing is to keep going and to keep fighting, because that's where you learn your lessons. That's where you get built and you get stronger for those moments of success, so you can handle them. But whatever you do, don't give up on what you want to do. And the other thing is to really be open to walking a different path. Far too often we think that there is, maybe one or two ways to get to a certain point. But if you look at the people that have reached that point, they've gotten there different ways. Even like the NFL, there are several players that come through different colleges. There's several players that they don't immediately get into the NFL. There's some players they come in, they have big contracts, the first round draft picks. Well, there's some that were 7th round draft picks. Tom Brady was a 7th round draft pick. There were several Hall of Famers that are free agents. So there's no definite way other than the way God has planned for you. That's what you need to get in tune to.
Right.
Is not how someone else got to the top, but how are you going to do it? Because God has a unique plan to do it. I didn't get to this point by living in LA or New York and going to the Comedy Store or the Cellar, and it's different ways to it. And because of that, because of me going a different way, the things I talk about are different. It's not the same because my experiences are different. So I would say, especially coming from Laurinburg, you can do what you want to do. You can make, I mean, it's 2021. So don't give up. It ain't going to be easy. Things are going to go wrong. Things are going to happen, and you're going to think, oh, it's a sign that I need to stop it. No, it ain't. It's a sign you need to keep going is when it goes wrong the most, because you want to be able to say, I overcame XYZ to get to the top. So that would be my motivational moment, is just, my words of encouragement to young people, because that's what was told to me. That's what was passed down to me. I didn't think as a kid, growing up in Laurinburg, I would have the experiences that I've had and see the things that I've been able to see and the places I've been able to go. I didn't think that, but because I didn't quit, because I embraced the way that I had to go, I embraced my path, then I think that is what helped me appreciate it versus, getting upset because it's not the same route somebody else went, or this person has more followers, or this. It ain't about that. It's about just keep going, and the time will come. It's just, are you ready for that? You got to always be prepared for that moment to come when it's on you. And that's something I learned from sports, is you don't necessarily, sometimes you see that moment coming when you got to make the big shot, or make the big tackle or something like that, and you just got to always be ready for it, because that's how life is. Those opportunities are going to come. It's like, I didn't think that during this pandemic I would have a chance to host and produce a show for a Power 5 institution in athletics. Didn't think that, didn't see it coming. But again, because I embraced the path and I was open to opportunities and finding different ways and trying to figure it out, I was able to see an opportunity versus, well, that's not the route that I want to go. Nah, that's a route to get me to where I ultimately want to be. So because of that, I was able to embrace it and absolutely love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And there you have it, Facebook and YouTube audience. Mr. Kevin Wolf, Kevin Smith. He gave us a lot of information tonight. He gave us words of encouragement. He's an awesome man. He's making some great waves. He gave you information where you can find him on his podcast, where you can follow him on the Demon Deeks show, and also here on Facebook. I missed what, YouTube. You can find him on YouTube as well. Kevin Wolf is a funny comedian. He's a politician. He's a wealth of information. So if there's any information that you need, and he can help you, he will. If he can't, he'll tell you he can't. He is very opinionated. He is not ashamed or afraid to tell you how he feels, what he thinks about anything. A great father, great husband, great leader, and he has so much to offer to the world. So Kevin, we thank you for joining us. And I would like to invite you all to join us again on April the 5th at 7 p.m. here on Moments of Motivation with Michelle, where we will have Angelique Spencer. She is a nurse, and she's been on both sides of the fence. She's a nurse who was treating the clients and the patients with COVID-19, and she's also one who had COVID-19. And she wants to talk to us about that experience, as well as talk to us about the vaccine. So come back on April the 5th at 7 o'clock p.m. here, Moments of Motivation with Michelle. Again, Kevin, we want to thank you for coming and sharing with us tonight. Those of you who joined us tonight and those that you will come and see later, don't forget to like, tag, and share this video broadcast. I think we had a great time tonight. And then after you do that, run on over to my YouTube channel, Moments of Motivation with Michelle, and like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys very much. And before we go, Kevin, do you have last words?
Here we go.
And Juwan,
last words is, I think
that you want to
I got some last words. Juwan will be a guest on my podcast, Parlay with Kevin Wolf, and talk about how do you overcome a verbally abusive work environment from a preacher.
Did you say from a preacher? I'm done. God bless you all. Have a good night. Come back on about 15
Let me go read to
minutes.
my kids and put them to bed. I gotta go read to my kids.
All right, go read to your kids. Come back on about 10 to 15 minutes. Joanna and I are gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about this moment with Kevin Smith.
Y'all gonna talk about it? Wait, y'all gonna talk about me behind my? Hold on, don't wave me off. You gonna talk about me behind my back?
No, we're not gonna talk about you behind your back. It's gonna be in your face because all you gotta do is come back and log back on.
Okay, first of all, don't give me the Jawan attitude. Back that up.
Jawan, oh God.
Like the attitude you give Jawan, that's what you just gave me. See, there it is. At our age, rolling your neck would get you injured. You trying to pay a copay tonight? You trying to go to urgent care tonight, ma'am?
No, sir. No,
You
sir.
need to stop. At
All
our
right.
age, that right there get you hurt. You've been a neck brace.
See, you wobbled your head. I rolled my head.
Okay.
That was a wobble.
Next thing you know, you're gonna be on what's those attorney commercials called Lewis and Daggett. And you were like, I hurt my neck doing my podcast, but Lewis and Daggett got me all my money from my injuries. Anyway, let me stop. I gotta go read to my kids, and you keep playing.
No, you playing. Go read to your kids. What you gonna read to them? What you gonna read tonight?
I don't know. They typically pick what they want to read.
Oh,
And what they read read to me, and then I read to them, and so they typically pick what they want. So that's what they'll do. But sometimes I had to catch them because they'll pick something easy. There's this book out there, and it's an easy book. It's called 10 Minutes to Bedtime, right?
okay.
And each page, it just counts down from 10 minutes. It goes 10 minutes to bedtime, 9 minutes to bedtime. Let me tell you something. My son tried to pull that book out the other day. And he said, "Here, Daddy, I want you to read this." I said, "Which one is this?" He said, "Oh, 10 minutes to bedtime."
Mhm.
Now, if you don't get this out my face and go get a real book, you 7 years old. You talking about 10 minutes to bedtime, 9 minutes to bed. Okay. So he had to go back and get something a lot more difficult than that. So you got to watch them, or they'll try to pull one on you.
All right. Kevin, we have actually exited like about 6 times. So this time we're actually going to close and allow you to go read your books to your kids. I have absolutely enjoyed talking to you tonight. You are super duper awesome. I already said it one time. Do you want me to say something else?
You keep talking about it. I'm trying to go. You keep running your mouth and rolling your neck.
Good night, Mr. Kevin Wolf.
Good night. Good night. Good night to everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in and checking us out. And I hope everybody accomplishes whatever it is they want to accomplish in life.
We're gonna have you back, Kevin. You was good.
No, you ain't. You always say that. You always say that. Always say that. That's
This is
okay.
your first time coming, so how can I always say it?
Can I go read to my kids?
Go read to your kids, brother.
Well, you start rolling your neck.